And when I see keto eating people, I had so many athletes and so many people who wanted to lose weight, and they went into keto and paleo diet. And my way of diet is one-on-one, and I see whether what is happening in their blood, I see what is happening in their mind, and I see what is happening, it has happened in their family also. And that's how I then write a diet or go through everything. Whereas when people eat keto diet, I saw piles, all acidic related issues, because not everybody had good HCl to break down these proteins. So hyperacidity disorders, varicose veins, immune disorders, gut issues, psoriasis, that was increasing in all these people. So over the period of time, we have seen that people have reduced eating carbs, they have reduced eating salts, and whenever we talk about salt, and everybody is like, you are eating too spicy or salty. We have seen people damning cholesterol, which is one of the important thing in the body for all the cells to function and the immunity to be built and all the hormones, and we have damned cholesterol also. So except protein, the major macronutrient, everything, a lot of things in our body has been, whatever we are eating has been damned. So protein is a major macronutrient beyond fats and water also, and carbs. And protein is not damned. It has been more commercialized. It has been isolated, and we all are eating mostly isolated proteins. And when I see keto eating people, I had so many athletes and so many people who wanted to lose weight, and they went into keto and paleo diet. And my way of diet is one-on-one, and I see whether what is happening in their blood, I see what is happening in their mind, and I see what is happening, it has happened in their family also. And that's how I then write a diet or go through everything. Whereas when people eat keto diet, I saw piles, all acidic related issues, because not everybody had good HCl to break down these proteins. So hyperacidity disorders, varicose veins, immune disorders, gut issues, psoriasis, that was increasing in all these people. We had so many people, youngsters, having lipomas, the nodules on the skin. And all of these people were having high intake of protein, which was through isolated proteins. So not damning this major macronutrient, but yes, you cannot isolate protein. So let's talk about what is protein made up of. So why is protein needed in the body? So protein, when it is broken down, it turns into peptides and then turns into amino acids. So protein makes the whole body. Every structure in the body is made up of protein. Your collagen, your ligaments, your bones, your muscles, everything, your fascia, everything is made up of protein. All the enzymes, all the hormones need protein. So all these chemical reactions on daily basis needs protein. And the immune system activity needs protein, which is by cytokines. So yes, protein is a very important nutrient in the body. But which kind of protein? And is protein a good source of energy? So over the period of time when everybody was eating a lot of protein after World War II, people saw that the athletes who were eating high protein, the sports person, the marathoners who were eating high protein on the day before their games, they did not have good fuel. They had high risk of injury, because protein is not a good fuel. Protein is a reserve, and it is used for repair and growth. So when we do not eat carbs and only eat proteins, it is still going to be broken down and used as energy. So it is not going to be building your muscles and bones and your fascia. So with the emerge of disease, so over the period of time when we see if the diseases are emerging, and we are becoming more aware of what we are eating, then why is the healthcare system changing? Why are we needing so many hospitals? Why are we needing so many isolated practices of the doctors? Because when we are as a whole, we are a physical and a mental and emotional body. then all these things mingle and then we make our body. I've seen a lot of issues in sports people who have emotional issues and they are repeatedly getting injured even though they have the best of muscles, the diet is balanced and all. That was related to the HCl production and vagus nerve problems, and that's why the collagen in the liver was not working properly and they had a lot of injuries. So it is not that what you eat and it is directly going to go into muscle and directly going to go and make hormones. It's about how over the whole body, how we as a system, ecosystem, we evolve as a person. So coming back to the history of increased protein diet, initially before World War II, we had around 5 to 50 acres of land which was agriculture, and we were eating mostly agriculture based food which was all vegetation and all for human consumption and not cattle consumption. Now after World War II, only 2 to 10 acre of only developing countries, 70% of the food comes from these developing countries. Most of the farms are used for soya, wheat, corn for all the cattle, and these cattle then they are butchered and then people are bringing protein from these food. So most of the people feel that red meat is the best source of protein. Yes, under microscope it can be. As soon as it goes in the body, so many reactions happens and you don't know whether from that beef or chicken or fish what is happening in your particular body. So when we are eating, we have to be mindful of what we are eating, what is the food combination we are eating. So what happened in World War II, coming back to the history, is these troops during World War II from America, most of the troops were eating chicken and they were sent chicken. After seeing their health, USDA promoted chicken as a main source of protein, which was only eaten over the Sunday dinners. Over the period of time when chicken became more expensive and eggs production was also needed, hams and porks and all came onto the table, which were more processed meats. Over the period of time, the emergence of gut disease like Crohn's disease and all, these type of diseases increased and cancer also increased. So protein, when it is taken as a isolated source of nutrition and increased source of nutrition, as in if you are a 100 kilo person, you are going to eat 120 grams of protein. It's not going to break down into the amino acids. It can be released as cytokines break down and it will cause inflammation in the body. So we feel that these meat products and dairy products are the full source of amino acids, but actually when it has been researched that 3 to 5 amino acids only we can get from these animal products. We need around 20 amino acids throughout the day. So how are we going to have these amino acids? Mushrooms are also one of the best source of proteins. So when we are eating mushrooms with these non-veg products with lots of veggies and a little bit of quinoa or pulses, then we get full profile of amino acids. So why are amino acids important? So as carbs are so carbohydrates is broken down into C, H and O. Like your potato is broken down into a pure form of glucose, which is used for ATP production in each and every cell. Same way, protein is broken down into amino acids. So 3 basic sources of protein: vegetarian sources, non-vegetarian sources, dairy products. Vegetarian sources, when we talk about broccoli as a source of protein, we don't believe, but lot of plant products have more protein than the non-vegetarian products. So when we mix these 3 products, a little bit of, if you are a non-vegetarian, if you add a little bit of non-veg, and if you're eating with vegetables, then you get a full profile of amino acids. So coming back to amino acids. So when, as I'm speaking sentences and paragraphs, these paragraphs can be broken down into one single sentence, which can broken down into word and which can broken down into alphabets. Amino acids are these alphabets. 3-4 alphabets come together and form a word. Sometimes 10 alphabets come together and form a word. These words form a sentence, which is your peptides. These peptides, when they come together, they form protein. And initially it was known that 10 to 20,000, we only have 10 to 20,000 of protein in our body. Now it has been researched that we have 400,000 different types of protein. It's like an array of all the amino acids dancing and mixing with our microbes, mixing with a lot of other enzymes, and then broken down into these amino acids, and that's how our body is made. So coming back to amino acids, there are two basic amino acids. Non-essential amino acids are in our body. We don't have to source it from outside, and essential amino acids are essential to be used, to be consumed. So animal products, as I said, has 3 to 5, maximum 7 amino acids. Our body needs a whole lot to make all these 400,000 amino acids. So one research I'm sharing with you. There was a research in 18-year-old kids, and this was a meta-analysis, and they were only given carnivore diet. And when they checked, and they had this endoscope, and they checked through the camera, they checked how it was broken down. It took 14 hours to break down all these proteins and break down into amino acids. And the health of these kids, out of that, 50% of the kids were becoming sicker. After 3 months, when everything was cleansed, when they were given only protein diet from vegetarian sources, it took only 90 minutes to break down this food. So when you are eating only non-vegetarian protein sources, it takes 14 hours to break down. Sometimes the cytokines are released, which are inflammatory proteins. So to break down inflammation and reduce inflammation, to reduce gut diseases, you need to mix different types of amino acids, different protein sources. I am quite against the boxed version of proteins, which are whey protein and isolated soya protein and all, because it has played havoc in the humans. Creating lipomas, to Hashimoto, to gut disease, psoriasis, eczema, and sometimes cancer, severe bowel diseases. So as I said, we are made up of protein. Our weight is 20% of protein. Protein is essential. I would say more, this is the research saying. I feel if we are talking about bones and fascia and muscles, we may be more than 50% protein. It serves as a regulatory control, and it controls the enzymes and transport proteins. Protein is essential to build. For repair and growth, protein is essential. So for children until 18, for geriatric patients and for sports people, I would count as 2.2 to 2.5 grams per your body weight. For people who are stable and do not have a very active lifestyle, maybe 0.5 to 1 gram of protein to break down into amino acids. So whenever your body is in stress and you're not eating high carb diet or healthy carb diet, I would say, then your body breaks down these protein in the time of scarcity, in the time of famine in your body. So coming back to how we are digesting protein. So when we start talking about digestive system, we feel that the mouth is the starting of the digestive system. Actually, all these sinuses are the start of the digestive system. There's a lot of nitric acid in these sinuses. There are a lot of microbes in the sinuses. People having a lot of issues with gut issues, with respiratory issues, they have trouble breaking down the protein even if they are eating high amount of protein. So when we talk about microbes in the sinuses, if you are doing pranayama, if you are doing cleansing of your nasal system and these microbes, then we get full breaking down from this protein to amino acids. So microbes in this area, as soon as the food mixes with the saliva, the microbes also mix with the saliva. It is broken down by all the enzymes in the saliva. As soon as it goes in the stomach's acid is 1 to 3, sometimes more. As soon as it goes to 3 to 3.5 pH HCl, you are not able to break down any source of protein. Any part of protein is not broken down. So whenever a doctor gives antacid, you make sure you know that you are not going to break down protein. You will have more issues with putrefaction and fermentation of all the food you're eating. Once the body, an effective body, breaks down all these proteins, breaks down all the carbs and fats what you've eaten, it goes into the first part of the small intestine, which is known as duodenum, where all the bile juices, pancreas and all the hormones are added with the food. The pH of the food changes from 3 to 8.5. So it is now allowed to go into small intestine, preventing the ulcer in your body. As soon as it goes into small intestine, it is broken down by all these enzymes and the microbes, and then you are able to absorb it into the bloodstream. And that's how all these proteins are then broken down, activated by liver. Lot of vitamins are activated by liver. and then we can use these proteins. Large intestine is used mostly for throwing out all the garbage from the body and absorbing the water. So if you are eating high fiber diet, but you're not eating enough amount, drinking enough amount of water, then the bolus in the body will stay, all the microbes will increase, and then you have got this disease, and all this backflow of the feces will happen. This causes putrefaction of proteins and again causes any disease like gut disease, Crohn's disease, even mental disorders, serotonin and dopamine irregularity in the body. So coming back to how I balance or how I suggest in balancing meal from morning till evening. Whenever we want more, if you come across so many people and you see our past history and you see today's generation and you see the athletes who are eating high protein, or you see bodybuilder, when we ask them to perform certain things like get up from the floor or you run on the stairs, they are not able to use these muscles. They are not able to break down all these things, and they are not able to use these large molecules of protein into making collagen or making any bodybuilding healing properties is not there of these protein. So from morning, when I count how to maximally use the protein and amino acids from your system, major eating of good quality of carbs is needed to absorb and break down protein. All meals should have protein from morning, afternoon and evening. All meals should have lot of amount of fibers and fats, essential fats. So when we are talking about how I make my wholesome protein meal is, if I'm talking about morning breakfast, 2 citrus fruits. Citrus fruits are needed to activate the collagen synthesis in the body, which is a very big structural protein in all the fascia and ligaments, tendons and cartilages. So any two citrus fruits, chia seeds, have vegan protein powder, or if you are talking about whey protein powder, then I would suggest an A2 quality whey protein powder, A2 protein from any good quality sources where you can check. Wellbeing Nutrition has good quality whey. There are other, I think, Two Brothers maybe having A2 quality, or you can make A2 quality protein at your home also by A2 cow milk. So I mix chia seed, I mix some nuts and citrus fruits and make a smoothie out of it. I take 20 minutes to eat all of these by maybe spoon or mixing it well with my saliva. After 3-4 hours, once everything is digested and your body is ready to eat next meal, then you start with little bit of ginger, which activates the HCl production in the body, which helps to break down plant protein. Plant protein and protein from the grains are difficult to break down for sure, but when you mix it with ACV or ginger or ajwain, it's easy to break down plant protein. So I would not suggest eating lot of raw food, because our body, if in today's world, because of the EMF frequency and environmental toxins, we are not able to break down a lot of raw food. So maybe lightly steamed or lightly sauteed food along with a protein source, along with little bit of complex carbs or good quality carbs as in sweet potato or beet or squash, that breaks down when it goes in the body is able to, the microbes are really happy with all the array of food and everything is broken down and full profile amino acids is there. If you feel that the food is not enough, you are not having 20 grams of protein or 10 grams of protein in that meal, you can add pulses or in a different variety of way. Coming back to evening, if you have if you're eating grains or if you're eating pulses, make sure you are soaking them for 3 to 4 hours. Again, whatever vegetables you have eaten in the morning, you change the vegetables in the evening. If you are fond of mushrooms, you add mushrooms. If you are vegetarian, you can add eggs, and you can end the day with A2 cow milk with little bit of ashwagandha and shatavari, and that will be your whole protein source throughout the day.